Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Infinite Crypto Cruisers. This is Brad Varnell. This is the Infinite Crypto YouTube channel. And like usual, I am excited tonight, folks. I have an amazing guest that is waiting for me to bring him onto the stream. And I just want to give him the proper introduction. You know, folks, one of the things that I really look for when I'm inviting people to come onto my channel is I want somebody that's genuine. I want somebody that's big-hearted, somebody that cares about other people. You know, there's a lot of people in this space that are just in it for themselves. And this gentleman has proven over the last year, year and a half, 2 years, that he cares about his community. He's got an amazing YouTube channel. You know, one of the things that really endeared me to him is he invited me to come onto his channel, even though he was about 10 times bigger than me. He didn't care that I only had a couple thousand subscribers. And I really appreciated that. And I've really become close friends with him over the last several months. And man, I'm just excited to introduce him to you guys because he is amazing. He's got a wealth of knowledge to share. Not only is he very, very versed and educated and intelligent in crypto, even though he'll try to tell you otherwise, but he's also just got a lot of life experience. He's just a great man. And without any further ado, let me bring him onto the channel. We've got Aaron from Cowboys of Crypto tonight.
What's going on, guys? Glad to see you, Brad. Thanks for having me on the channel and welcome to our live stream show. Super glad to see Mike Thomas, Crypto Maniac, Tice too. What's going on, guys? Good to see y'all.
Yeah, man. Welcome so much. Thank you so much for coming tonight, Aaron. I know you're a busy guy. You got a family, you got kids, you got work, but you made time to be here tonight and it's very much appreciated.
Oh, this is the best time to do crypto. You know, when the kids are asleep, when mama's tired, you put them to bed and you just put your nose down and you start getting to work. I mean, I think during this bear market, really, we should be all adopting the mentality of a build market. It's something that I'm like, okay, right now is the time to put the axe to the stone here and really start going at building whatever it is you're trying to build. Is a personal brand? Is it a YouTube channel? Is it different trades and research? Is it your brain? That's kind of the stuff that I'm into right now.
Yeah, man, I love that. That's one of the reasons that I invited you onto the show, because right from the very beginning of my channel, if you look in the description of my YouTube channel, it says, freedom is our war cry. Whatever that means to you. I like the idea of nobody telling me when I got to go to work, when I can go to the bathroom, when I can take a vacation. And that's kind of been my goal most of my life, was to head in that direction. And, but what I've found along the way is you can't achieve all of that until you get this right.
Yeah.
And in crypto, if you get lucky and make a bunch of money without getting this right, it's not going to do you any good. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the channel, because I can tell that you're big on the mindset. You're big on the things behind the scenes that a lot of people don't think about. So, how did you kind of get into that world? How did you come about personal development and realize that you needed to improve yourself in order to, get to where you wanted to be in life?
Yeah, I like how you started off with saying like what freedom meant to you. To me, what freedom means, and really, I think it's different from wealth. I think freedom to me really means more and better options. I think when you have more and better options, you are freer to choose between any of these options. If you're less free, you have constricted restraints, less options, lesser value options. And so I think that's what that means. And then when we compare that with wealth, and I think this is important when we're understanding in crypto, this is personal philosophies that you're going to get. I don't really talk about personal philosophies much in the channel. I really talk about just like the technical stuff or whatever. But to me, wealth is the amount of people you've helped throughout your life. And just saying it like it is, if you're broke and poor, you can't help that many people as long as you had more wealth. Even I think the Bible says a lot more to this. Is like, look, when you're generous, you're generous with a lot. If you're generous with a little, you're going to be given a little bit. If you're generous and stewarding a lot, you could do and handle a lot more. And I think has to do with generosity. Like, just because we are going to becoming richer doesn't mean we need to be more greedy. We have to become more generous. I've said this in my older videos. I still hold this belief today. And the fact is, anyone who's into crypto right now, I believe, is going to be very wealthy if you stick to it 7, 10, 20 years down the line. It's undoubted. And so that's kind of what my mentality is personal development is like, can my internals, can my brain, can my soul, can my heart really manage wealth properly? Can I manage a community properly? Can I manage balancing crypto and YouTube and politics and family, all and with poise? Yeah, I'm not like emotional roller coaster. I handle it all with poise, and I think that's really important to like why I started in crypto. And it was because I was not free. I had terrible options, and I didn't really know what real wealth was. And so uh, I think that's kind of how I started, was an internal struggle first. Maybe towards more of the, then you guys just got me talking right now. Maybe it's helpful to start earlier. I grew up in San Diego, California. I was born in Fresno for 17 years. I grew up in San Diego, California. We were broke. Okay. My family is a family of immigrants. They were both born in the Philippines. They moved over here. My dad was in the Navy for 23 years. I only saw him 3 months out of the year for 17 years of my life. I saw him for 3 months out of the year. And I shared a bed with my Lola, who's my grandma, and my brother, who's about 7 years younger than me, and he's mentally handicapped. So every few nights he would wet the bed, and me and my grandma, we would wake up and piss. You know, like this is the reality that I grew up. We grew up in an apartment, and like it was like right on the cusp on San Diego. Like one part was rich and the other part was like kind of poor, and we were like right in the middle. And my parents worked very hard. My mom worked hard, but my Lola is the one who cared, like, you know, took care of me. And so from very early on, what I understood from my Lola was like a lot of compassion. This is a quick story, but like when I went to the Philippines, a little later in life, like 18, 19, I saw my Lola there, and everyone was bringing her gifts. Like this was the wealthiest person I knew. I mean, like I just saw everyone was so excited to see her. People were coming from the mountains, bringing baskets of vegetables to her front doorstep, just thanking her just for being her. And it was like, what Lola, what did you do so that all these people just love you so much? And that wasn't family. That was just neighbors. That was all kinds of, and maybe there's cultural things that happened in there. But I saw a woman who gave her life to her community, the people around her, for so long, that they loved her so much. And then she chose to live with me for 17 years as basically a maid. My mom was gone. My dad was gone. My mom was working. She was, she would leave early in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, and come back late at night. And so my Lola would cook, clean, take me to school, walk me there, pray with me, teach me. And it's the best, most clearest picture of self-sacrifice and who I want to be as a person. And so I think with that to me was just so inspiring. Like that to me is why I consider wealth like the amount of people that you help. And I see that amplified with money. However, I'm not saying like my Lola was poor, right? She wasn't rich. So I'm not saying you can't help people, but I know that like when like these maids would come up, I'll give you another example. Like you would employ maids in the Philippines. They would go to her and want to serve in her house because she would pay for their way through college. And so she would set them up for a future as a maid, like she knows that sooner or later in life, they're going to leave her because they graduated college, and she was okay with that. And she developed this huge reputation about that. And it was just so, I mean, that's the kind of stuff I want to do. You know what I mean? Like I want to change someone's life so that it's forever built on some foundation that I helped a small part like establish. I think that was the earlier formative years of my life. Sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, you're not, man. No, you're not. That's what tonight is all about. You're not talking too much. That was an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that with us, man. That was awesome. And I think that anybody listening to it, you kind of gleam, the points from it. Like you were saying, like there's a lot of different things that are considered success, and not all of them pertain to money. Your grandmother Lola is it Lola or
Lola?
Lola. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lola was every bit as successful in what she did as Mark Cuban is as a billionaire and making money. Yeah. She just did something different, but it sounds like, it was her passion. She loved it. She lived, is she still with us?
Yeah, she's with us, and she's 96 years old. Last time I went
Oh,
with her was
wow.
right before COVID hit. And so I got to spend a month with her. It's actually a little sad. It's funny because last time I saw her, I was leaving, and she said this one thing. She said, "Aaron, next time I'll see you, it'll be on Glory Shore." And it was like, really, I was like, golly, and I started crying on my way. I started bawling. Like we were in the car. I was in the back, and my wife was with me because I had to show off, my fiance to Lola, but she had to get the blessing. Funny story,
Yes.
by the way. In the Philippines, we have this thing called balut. It's a duck embryo that's
Okay.
like it's an unborn duck. Basically, it's like it's like a duck inside the egg. And I made a joke with Kelsey's my wife's name. I was like, you got to eat that in order to be considered part of the clan here. So she took that freaking egg, she cracked the thing, she started hammering at the freaking duck with the. This is stuff on Fear Factor, bro. This is Fear Factor stuff. She took it down, no problem. There's like a feather on her freaking face. I was like, that's nasty, dude. I never do that. So nasty.
And then you
But
tell her, wait, I was just
yeah,
kidding. You
well,
didn't really
she's
have to do
game,
that.
and I know actually Filipinos actually eat that stuff, like, no problem.
Okay.
My dad's like, "All I need is a little salt." So, and you have to drink the embryonic fluid from the egg, like, it's freaking nasty, bro.
Right?
It's so
Oh,
gross.
man.
But,
That is
uh,
awesome, man. I love that.
yeah, she's doing well. She, maybe send up a quick prayer for her when you get a chance because she fell this last week, and, she was stuck, and it's scary when you're stuck and old. And I think eventually I had this sombering thought that, man, that's the future for all of us. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if we're not dying early and, younger or violently, we're going to be old, losing sensibility among us, losing the ability to get up from the bathroom floor, and then
Right?
just waiting. It's sad. It's a somber thought to where, hey, look, the stuff that we do in life, what are the stuff that really matters? What is it that really matters? Because that's going to be all of us eventually, in some way or another.
Amen.
And it's a guiding ethic in my life. I think is like, hey, the stuff in your life, how is it helping people? Are you helping people? That's the stuff that matters to me.
Right. Awesome, man. So I know that we've had an opportunity to spend a few hours together on the live streams. And so I know a little bit about, your love for God. I know that you're, a pastor of a church, which maybe some people don't really know, but I'm curious, did that come from Lola? Did you learn about God when you were young, or did that kind of happen as you got older? When did you kind of learn about the Lord and get that part of your life ingrained
Yeah,
in you?
good question. So I grew up in the church. Lola really was a faithful person. Actually, when I didn't know this, but when I was a baby, she would pray that I would be a pastor. Well, surprise, my Lola has like a direct line to the Lord above here, apparently. So either way, I didn't, when I was young, I had no care for church at all. I had friends there, kind of. They were kind of dorky, like the dorky freaking, long jean skirt, no friends, into C.S. Lewis type of girls. I wasn't really. I was a public school kid, you know what I mean? So I was falling asleep in service and all that stuff. Anyway, I understood, but I saw such a clear glimpse of like whatever Lola believed. I like it because my Lola lived that way.
Yeah.
And so I said I was a Christian. I think I really was, but it didn't mean anything to me. Anyway, when I moved to Florida, and this was like the biggest turning point in my life, I think. When I moved to Florida, I had spent 17 years of my life establishing like a friendship, friend groups over there. I was a wrestler. I was going to be on varsity. I was going to college for wrestling. When I moved to Florida at 17, it was my junior year. It was the worst thing in my life that I thought ever happened to me because I lost everything. My all my friends were gone. My team was gone. Essentially my future was gone because I was going to go to school for wrestling because in California there's a heavy emphasis on wrestling, and there's not one in Florida. And so all of that was gone. And not for nothing, it was culture shock too. I went from like a predominantly Asian and white kind of upper class school. I wasn't upper class, but like like I said, we were on the edge, to like a really poor, like ethnic, every type of race. I mean, in my old school was 2 black people, and my new school was like all black people. Well, not just black people, it's like Spanish people, and not just the type, like one type of black people. Like it was like the islands, the Caribbeans, the West Indies. You know, that it was so culture shock to me, and so I felt so alone. Like I felt so alone. But this is where it led to my faith, was that a pastor befriended me when we were going to church here. A pastor befriended me, and he became like a mentor to me. He's about 10 years older than me. He became a mentor, and he became like one of my really close friends. And he would drop like really a lot of wisdom on like, hey, you know, what you believe isn't all just fairy tales, Aaron. It's not just like good wishes or rules. Like there's a history to this. There's a logic to the gospel. There's a logic to the Bible. And if you're interested, I'd like to have a Bible study with you. I thought like, ew, like, you know, like like a dude trying to have a one-on-one Bible study with me. Let's do it in like, let's maybe in public. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, look, it's not like let's just have a Bible study. And so I was like, all right. And in the 2 years, if I could say the first 17 years of my life was kind of absorbing like how Christianity looks in someone's life, those next 2 years was like understanding my faith, like on a granular level. Like, okay, this isn't just fairy tales, you know, like I can make sense of the historicity of everything, the you know, how everything's written, and how the justification for all the beliefs, all that kind of stuff. So that's where I came from. I came from like a place, it was because what was happening in real life, you know, opened that door to understanding my faith, which is also obviously a guiding ethic in my life.
Right. Man, I love it. I love where this is going. Real quick, I do want to give a shout out to my wife who hopped into the chat. Thank you for being here, my love. And, you know, definitely everybody that's here, we appreciate you. Hit that like button, see if we can get this, you know, YouTube algorithm to get it out to some new people, because this stuff is gold. I know you folks showed up mostly looking for crypto gems and crypto information, but what I hoped that you guys can kind of see is that the stuff that we're talking about is so important. There's so many people don't think about the journey, the what leads up to the success and how to prepare them for the success. And this is gold. This is more valuable than any YouTube video that you can watch where a guy just says, hey, these are the 5 tokens that you ought to be buying. That stuff's cool. And we're going to go over some small cap gems. Aaron was gracious enough on his channel last night to announce that he was going to do a $50 giveaway tonight. And I'm going to match that. So we're going to be giving away $100 on tonight's stream. So stick around, you know, towards the end for that. And, you know, I want to give a shout out. It's been kind of cool. I just recently got my super chats turned on, so I'm not used to them. So it's kind of cool. Thank you very much, Crypto Girl, for the $2 super chat. She says she loves this channel. Hey, we love having you. Thank you all, you know, very much for being here. And so, you know, let's kind of, so you move to Florida, you kind of go into adulthood, and then kind of what did you start out doing for a living as an 18, 19, 20-year-old? And then how did that metamorphose into this journey to become, you know, a cryptocurrency investor and now an amazing YouTuber?
Good question. So I was a telemarketer, and this actually started everything. This started everything for me. I was a telemarketer for AT&T, and I actually became one of the best telemarketers on the floor. I held the record for most DSL, which is what we were selling, DSL internets of the day. There, I mean, I was pretty good. I was really, really good. But I hated my job, and I hated my job so much that I made a video of how much I hate my job. At the time when I was telemarketing, I developed I guess a hobby of YouTubing. So I mean, I was 18, 19, being a YouTuber. Back then, hitting 1 million subscribers was Kev Jumba, okay? An Asian kid in a room. I don't know if anyone knows this. Like, very few YouTubers will know this kind of history, but Kev Jumba was the top guy in the space. He was a kid, an Asian kid, filming videos, and I was like, he looks like me. I could do the same thing too. So I started YouTubing, and I started developing my skills in like editing and stuff like that. And those skills carried me all the way till obviously today. So I was spent 3 years as a telemarketer. My pastor said, "Hey, Aaron, I see your YouTube videos. Do you want to edit videos for the church?" And I said, "Yeah." So I started developing church videos. And they're all over the internet. Honestly, you type in my name, all kinds of stuff pops up. And so when I developed these things, then I started becoming more what we call discipled in the church. And like I would learn, about more Bible and stuff like that. Well, one of the leaders of the church, the youth leader at the time, she bailed. She just had like a, she couldn't handle it anymore. So she left. So they made me the youth director. So now I'm paired up. I quit the job at telemarketing, but I have this YouTuber like background for like maybe 3 years at the time. And then I started doing youth groups. So then I started making YouTube videos about music. That channel is still up. Bunch of old videos are still up. You guys can find it. Power Aaron 619, I think, is the name of the channel, but that's my old handle. So I started making these videos for my youth group. Anyway, that morphed into just developing really proper skills on SEO, marketing, and all that kind of stuff. So I started developing a love for marketing. I started my own marketing business, did really well, 6 figures a year. It was great. COVID killed it. But in this simultaneously, I run like a simultaneous life. I have always ran like a ministry first life. And then at night, I did YouTube, or at night, I did a marketing business. So it was just this congruent thing, my whole adult life. And there came to a point where my pastor in same pastor actually, so I think it's really fortuitous, he said, and I've got a ton of thoughts. I've really considered starting a whole separate channel on crypto and Christianity, or like decentralization. So that's like, I've got a whole bunch of other thoughts on that one. But my pastor came to me, he said, "Aaron, you should buy crypto. You should buy crypto." Because in the middle of the pandemic, I shouldn't probably say these words, in the middle of like everything shutting down, the whole world was shaken. And we had this meeting, and he said to us, everyone's job role is changing. Okay. We don't know what it's going to look like. We have no idea what this means for us. So we need to go fully online. Everyone then turned to me because I was the online SEO marketer of the church, and I had a YouTube background. I was essentially the boss for a good year, and I was directing and showing everyone. I was like, my whole brain was exploding. I was going crazy. But during this time, crypto was very interesting to me. He said, "Aaron, buy some Bitcoin. This looks like it could be the time." And he was right. And so I started buying crypto. I started buying Bitcoin. I only had a couple $100 to invest. But that couple $100 landed me really good deals with SafeMoon. And that was when SafeMoon hit that huge pump. I made 10 grand out of it, out of like $500. I was like, well, this is not real. And most everyone knows it went up and down and up and again. So I missed that first pump. I learned my lesson, and I sold it on the second pump. And then from there, I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to record my journey into like crypto. I know nothing about this thing, and this is fascinating to me. And so if I could say to anyone here, look, guys, build yourself a personal brand, dude. If it's not YouTube, it could be Twitter, it could be TikTok, it could be something. But I think that building personal brands is like something to build, at least something, build a business in the crypto space. That's something I just love. And since then, I've actually thought so much about it that I brought on Saran. Like Saran didn't have a YouTube channel until he saw that the bandit, till he saw I was doing. So I've helped him tremendously, I think. And then Ethan recently, he's just a kid, but I see a lot of my, self in him, like hungry, ambitious athlete, like curious about crypto. And so I'm helping him out. I'm not sure if, he has yet to prove himself, whether or not he could be the YouTube personality or whatever, but maybe Twitter, or there's a lot of different ways you could do that. But I really do think that I'm just a product of two people pouring into me, my Lola and my pastor. And so I want to be that person to pour into other people as well. Right. And this is just the way I know how to do it. So,
right. Amazing, man. This is pure gold. I just absolutely love it. Before, just to put it out there so I don't forget about it, I definitely want to talk a little bit about money and Christianity, because I think that a lot of people are kind of misguided on it. A lot of people have heard that Bible verse or misunderstand the Bible verse. A lot of people think it goes something along the lines of the love of money is the root of all evil, where it's actually the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And you know that money is a tool. There's a lot of, I know a lot of Christianity or people that are good Christians that never have an abundant life financially because they believe as Christians that it's like sinful to be wealthy. And I know that you and I don't believe that. That's not how God wants it either, in my opinion. And I want to come back to that. But something else that you talked about that I'm curious about is, you know, have you had any dream stealers in your life? Have you had any people, even maybe that, you know, they loved you and they cared about you and they had good intentions, but that maybe tried to take you away from your path and pull you away from your dreams? And the reason I bring that up is even in my life, my mentor, the guy that got me into crypto, guy that I watched turn 9,500 into 2.2 million, and the reason that I'm here, he actually told me back in the beginning of 2018 when I said, man, a lot of these YouTubers look like they're having fun. And you know, and I'm thinking about doing a YouTube channel way back in 18. And his exact words to me was, Brad, there's no money in YouTube. And you know what I did? I listened to him. And I made a huge mistake because, one, I realized now he was intelligent. He knew a lot about crypto, but he didn't know anything about YouTube, obviously. And he held me back. You know, that conversation caused me to not start my channel until 2021. And it just, you know, and I know that probably everybody here listening, whether it's a mom or a dad or a wife or brothers or sisters, siblings, coworkers, have kind of gone through that. And I just want to hear what you have to say about that. And if you have any wisdom to share on that topic.
So part of what I always talk about on the channel is put a community around you. And the reason for that is because in the community, I have learned to adopt a lot of different angles or perspectives on a particular situation. And if you have a lot of community and a lot of perspectives, you will get conflicting ones. And it's our job to shift and sift through all of those. Now, with that being said, I don't particularly like classifying them as dream stealers because it infers to them or infers about them that they are of malicious intent. When I have found most often that the people who are very negative on that, it's a reflection of themselves. It is a reflection of their insecurities or their ignorance. And because I sift only through information, I don't sift through emotion. Like, I'm not trying to assume, you know, this is their emotion behind things. I just assume, hey, or okay, that's data, right? I'm just sifting through data. I'm not saying that's what you do. I'm just saying this is how I interpret that phrase. You might be using that. You are using that phrase differently. But so like my mom would tell me, so in like when I was 21, I started, my first foray into business was Amway, Quick Start at the time. And it was like, you know, multi-level marketing.
I've been in Amway.
Yeah. And I did not make a dime out of it. Matter of fact, I spent a ton of money on it. However, I was put around a group of on fire business people, and they told me to read a bunch of books. So I was on a reading tear, and that's how I love to read now. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all the classics, right? Magic of Thinking Big, How to Win Friends and Influence People, the 5 love languages. So they were feeding me these books. So I was getting the value I needed because I had the community around me to support me on that. However, a lot of them would be like, oh, you know what, Aaron, you got to go double down on Quick Start, double down on Amway. I was like, and I'm like thinking, I live at home. Why do I need to buy toothpaste? I have free toothpaste. You know, so it was like it didn't make. So I learned, I guess, how to sift through that kind of stuff and not be dream. I don't want to say that they're stealing my dream. I just feel like they have a different opinion. They're ignorant of this opinion, or they might know more about this opinion. If I have a lot of knowledge about something and someone comes to me with some ignorance, I could sort through that. However, like right now I'm thinking about investing in like industrial real estate right now because I think it's underserved. I think a lot of trades will be some of the biggest millionaires in the future, and so they're going to need industrial complexes. That's a separate thing. But I know nothing about the industrial commercial real estate zone. And so I'm looking for that information. I don't know if that's good or bad information, but I find a community of people I could trust that looks like they have a track record of, history, like a good track record. And so that's how I just sort through information. Right. So my mom was a big, like, Amway is not working. This doesn't work. And, she was kind of right and kind of wrong. I've heard people say like, oh, why are you doing this personal brand thing? You trying to be like some famous pastor? I'm like, they were wrong. And that person was self-conscious. They were anxious themselves. They wanted that spot. They wanted to be the guy, but they didn't have the on-camera presence or whatever it was or the guts to put stuff out there in the content and let people judge it. So, like it's just one thing I learned from one of my mentors is massive imperfect action. It's a famous phrase, especially in the real estate world. You just keep taking massive imperfect action. And that's kind of like how I took like crypto and YouTube. Right. I just start putting stuff out there. It's not perfect and I'm not right all the time, but just a lot of it. I just put out a lot. So that's where I'm at with people who are trying to stop your dreams. It's just, we have to develop a better sense of a filtration system. And I think you only do that with community.
Yeah. I absolutely love the way that you said that. And I agree with you 100% that maybe, dream stealers is not the proper term. I agree with you. Most people, it's not their intention to steal your dream. It's just like when your mom tells you reach out to touch the hot stove and your mom tells you no. It's because she loves you and she's trying to save you from burning your hand. Yeah. And so most of the people in your life, they're trying to save you from what they think is going to be pain and misery in your life. It's not that they don't want you to have the success. So dream stealers is probably a bad word, but I'm so glad that we brought this topic up. I see some chat, some people, that are dissing on Amway and that kind of stuff. And that's fine. I understand where that comes from, but folks, the golden nugget that you want to glean from this is success leaves clues. And the thing that I heard was that Aaron was introduced and started reading books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The 5 Love Languages, Think and Grow Rich. And guess what? I've read every single one of those books that you mentioned and a ton more. Like just within a few feet of me here, my office is, kind of a mess, but I've got this book and I'm reading right now. I'm reading this David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me.
I read that. That's an awesome book. Awesome book.
I've got this David Meltzer book, goodness. And then I really love Ed Milet here, So my point is, folks, part of the reason that Aaron and I have the lives that we have, right, is because I read all of these. Amen. We've read these books. So if you're in here tonight and you're not having the success that you want to have yet in life, I'm not going to tell you that you got to go read all these books, but I'm telling you that it's very hard to find a millionaire and it's almost impossible to find a multi-millionaire, very successful people that hasn't read most of these books. It's
I'm so convinced that you have to read to be successful. Brad won't say it. I'll say it like this. You will not be successful if you do not read. There are some people who are successful. I think that that haven't read. Gary Vee is like a known guy. He is the anomaly. Okay. He's not normal. He did massive imperfect action. He works 23 hours a day and he looks haggard. Like, so he would have saved himself so much time if he just read so many more books. I'm not paid from any of these, but like when you read a book, it's the best of people's thoughts of what they did. It is the absolute best. I know you hate it. Okay. I know you hate it, but here's what you gotta do it. There's not, I mean, like you just have to read, especially some of those things are autobiography. Those are really good, especially like for like the things that you wouldn't normally experience, like you can experience it through them. I think what I do is set a minimum of 8 pages a day, minimum 8 pages a day. I have notes on everything I learn. I like to highlight and read through everything, and I keep everything on my iPad. I used to read books and stuff like that, but Yeah, I take notes and stuff. So that's what I do. And I think, especially as a YouTuber, I try to grow my expertise and my field of understanding. Otherwise, you're going to hear the same old stuff from me, and I won't evolve. I have taken. I mean, you're watching YouTube videos already, and I think that's a product of our culture. Our culture is very microwave. Like we want things immediately and fast. But I think there's something formulative about reading a book, like the process of reading the words and the lines and stuff like that. And you could get fast about it, right? Like I use my finger because I'm a slow reader, but like you could start stamping out lines at a time if you guys are smarter and faster than me. But yeah, I think that's,
man.
You have to read.
Absolutely. And, you know, for those of you that don't like to read, I think there's a lot of value in doing audiobooks too. Like if you're listening to it while you're working out at the gym or driving, there's still a ton of value. If you just can't bring yourself to open a book and read it, listen to it. You're still going to get, you know, a ton out of it. But I love the fact that kind of came up. And, you know, folks, we didn't know any of this. Like Aaron and I have gotten to know each other a little bit over the last few months, but it's been somewhat superficial, not necessarily really deep dives. So that's what I love about these types of interviews. And really, like, we didn't know where this was going to go tonight, but I'm so grateful.
This is awesome. Yeah, I got to have you on my channel doing this.
Right? I'm looking, yeah, maybe the next time we come on, maybe you could do it the other way around. I'd love to. I love to go through my story a little bit. I mean, I've been, you know, I've had some times, man. I've done some stupid stuff in my life. And yeah,
stupidest?
Well, I was pretty lazy as a young man, and even into quite a few years into adulthood, and I was bad at managing money. I always had good skills and made good money, but I was better at spending it. And, you know, and I just did stupid stuff. I mean, I hate it when people say, "Oh, I was homeless and now I'm, you know, living in a mansion or something." When I say I was homeless, I was homeless for about maybe 2 weeks, and I had a car. But like, this is like me and my buddy. I'm 21 years old. I got kicked out of the place I was living because I didn't pay my rent on time. And at that point in time, my parents' tough love, I love them for it. My parents at that time, that I wasn't coming back. It was my own fault. They knew I'd figure it out. But my buddy, who lived with his mom at the time, of course she didn't like me, and why would she? I mean, I wasn't doing anything successful in life. I mean, not that her son was doing anything great either, but so he lived with his mom. So we would stay out until like 3 or 4, 5 in the morning, drinking coffee and doing stuff, not doing anything stupid, but like, and then we would go to his house. And he would go in, and I couldn't go in and like sleep on the couch or in his room because his mom didn't like me. So I would have to pull around the corner and sleep in my car until the sun woke me up. And then I knew it was late enough that his mom had went to work, and I would pull in and knock on the door. He'd come in, let me in. We'd sleep till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And then we would go do our thing and do it all over again. So when I say I was homeless, technically I slept in my car for a couple of weeks, but I wasn't like out on the streets begging for money, and had a sign and a bunch of dirty clothes or whatever. I was still, and then I got my crap together. I got a job, and I started off getting a room for rent because I couldn't really get back into an apartment, but but there's some fun stuff that if you interviewed me like this, that I could definitely, go into over my 49 years.
I couldn't sleep in the car, man. That's too uncomfortable, bro.
No, man, it wasn't any fun. That's for sure. Luckily, I mean, it's only for a couple hours. That's one of the reasons we stayed up so late. Well, I wasn't going to try to sleep in a car from 10 at night till 6 in the morning, but you sleep in a car from 4 in the morning until 6 in the morning or so. It wasn't horrible for a couple of hours, but anyways, yeah, that's some fun. That's a fun fact that none of my community have never heard me talk about that. But yeah, man, I love these interviews because
you didn't. What's drink? That? You didn't drink or anything that helped with that?
No, I mean, when I was in my early 20s, I still drank some. I didn't quit drinking until about 12, 13 years ago. I never developed a problem with alcohol because I had a very, very healthy respect for it. My dad's an alcoholic. My grandfather's an alcoholic. My grandfather never quit drinking and ended up in a nursing home because he blew his mind up and ended up in a nursing home. My dad was given an ultimatum by my mom when I was about 3 months away from being born. My mom told my dad either quit drinking or get out, and he left. But 2-3 days later, he realized that that wasn't the life that he wanted to live. He came back and he told my mom, okay, I'll quit drinking. And he got sober in May of 1973, 3 months before I was born. He's been sober for 49 years. I've never seen him take a drink. And I love my dad so much, man. He is my hero. He totally changed my family tree. My kids have never seen me take a drink. And I don't plan on them ever seeing me take a drink, even though I never developed an addiction to alcohol. It never had any redeeming qualities in my life, and I don't miss it even a little bit. But I was lucky, man. My dad wasn't so lucky. His dad, never quit drinking, and it affected my dad a lot. So I'm always been proud of the man that my dad was, and that he had the strength to make that decision, and it totally changed my life.
That's fantastic. Yeah. If I were to sleep in a car, I need to be wasted. If I'm sleeping in a car, I need to be gone. Like that's so crazy stuff. But yeah, I mean, more power to you. I think that generational, you know what happens? I think there's a generational anxiety that gets handed down. And people have different trauma or anxieties that were different, right? Like that make you think or make you predisposed either for bad or for good. And I was just having a conversation with this. I don't know about like we should take this to race or not, but I was just having a conversation about this. Is like, she's a black friend of mine. She said, "Hey, I have this generational trauma here that makes me think about things that makes me assume things that I don't want to assume about other people, and I shouldn't assume, and I have to fight that. I'm assuming that this person is thinking bad about me because I'm black, and that's a generational trauma, and it's been handed down, and I don't want that anymore." And I think in the same way, the Bible talks about this is like, hey, that sin really hits the generation and generation. In that, hey, if your grandfather was a drunk and your dad was a drunk, like there needs to be something, someone, some force, that's powerful enough to break that. And I think that was his love for you and his love for your mom. But then the Bible actually also talks about the blessings that come from generation to generation too. And so he not only stopped that, that curse, but also started a track of, I think, was of blessings and whatever that means for your family. I think that's fantastic. I love that kind of story.
Thank you. Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy, man. He's 81 now, but he's slim and trim. He quit drinking when he was 32. He quit smoking when he was 34. So he looks like he's about 60, 65. Super active. He'll come into town. He loves to play poker. So even at 81, we'll go play poker at the Venetian or the Wynn or someplace, and we'll be up till 2 or 3. He hang until 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, and we're getting ready to go to the Bahamas for Thanksgiving in November. And he's, still getting on flights and doing all of the traveling and energetic. And it's just a super big blessing to have him around and still be able to spend, that quality time with him at this point. So
awesome.
It's been, I'm blessed. So real quick, we do want to give some money away. I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about a token or two. And I do want to be respectful of your time. We don't have to get off of here right at, midnight, but I don't want to keep you too much later.
I'm here all night, Brad. If you want me, I'm here all night. Doesn't matter.
As long as people are watching and loving it. But before we do, I do want to go back to the money thing, because I do think that a lot of people don't realize that sometimes subconsciously they think they want to have success, or consciously they want to have financial success, but because of things that they were taught when they were kids, like maybe their parents would say, rich people are greedy, or and put those types of things into your hand. You don't even really realize it. Money doesn't grow on trees. Or like as a Christian, if you were kind of taught, hey, you worry too much about money, you love money too much, you kind of can get that sometimes from people that, like we were just talking about, the dream stealers, not necessarily dream stealers. They have good intentions. They think they're being helpful, but have you, what do you have to say about that? And as far as, believing that it's okay to be wealthy and giving people kind of a permission to be wealthy if they think maybe that it's a bad thing in a way.
I think so I was doing a study on like Jewish tradition. There's this book, it's called Thou Shalt Prosper, and it talks about why Jewish people have like very healthy money habits. And it's basically this. This starts with the philosophy of money, is that when you are wealthy, when you're trying to generate wealth, the best way to generate wealth is to attend to the needs of others, meaning you serve them, meaning you give them value, is what we would term in YouTube land.
Yes.
But you tend to the needs of others. If someone needs something, you get it for them. If so, I know of I have a story where there's this 18-year-old girl. She used to be a youth group kid of mine. She started working at this cookie factory, and she started working for this guy, and she was like always type A, always on time, but she would always like make sure that he never had any problems when she was there. If he was there, or if she was working, she would make sure like she would solve problems before they would even happen for him. And so he promoted her to a very wealthy spot, and it's very lucrative, way more than I make at the church. But and that's, I think, this is the key, is like you have to attend to the needs of others, and you will find that wealth follows you. The second thing is that what you do is very closely linked to who you are. Meaning, if you're someone who's scamming, if you're someone who's always trying to like find that, weasel your way into like these deals that shouldn't be happening or whatever, you're scamming people, that is that hits you at your core. You are that person who's trying to steal from other people. However, if you're someone giving wealth, like it's fulfilling holistically as a person. Like, okay, we need to like, I am doing good, and I feel moral about doing good for other people, that I have no problem taking money, and that I see money. If I hold up a dollar bill, I don't have stupid, dirty fiat on me, but if I hold up a dollar bill, that I think of that as a thank you note. If I give this to somebody, it's a thank you for what you provided for me. And if someone gives me that, it's like, hey, Aaron, you did a good service for me. I'm going to take, this is a thank you. And so those three things, I think, is like really what ties some of my philosophy of money and Christianity together, is that one is that being wealthy is not a sin. It's actually very moral, and that it's because that you provide value and you serve the needs of others. Is that two, that when you're providing value and needs of others, it's very linked to who you are, and you will feel good about serving the needs of others. And that three, money comes back to you as a thank you note. It's meant to be that, not as like, oh, I got to pay you. No, I did you a service. I drove you somewhere. I picked up this. I taught you this. I entertained you here. And I think that's those three core tenets is kind of what some is at the core of what I believe about money and Christianity.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. I love that. That's such a great demonstration. You really painted a good picture there. And I agree with you 100%. It's, about adding value. And I think that one of the things that successful people learn and do is they realize you have to add the value first, and then the money will come later. There's a lot of people that are working for somebody else, and they're like, hey, when they start paying me more, I'll work harder. And that's the backward philosophy. The people that are successful in life and that really make it and that move up in the companies and stuff are the people that have the philosophy of, hey, I'll work harder first and do more and create more, add more value. Mm-hmm. And then my employer's going to just have no choice but to pay me more. You know what? And if they never do, the good news is there's other people out there that will notice that about you and that will, pay you more. So I love what you said there. I think that's, super, super valuable. So, hey, we got Average Joe Crypto in the house tonight. That's cool, man. Thank you so much for swinging by. And I love this comment here. Madman says, I'll definitely go into reread Rich Dad Poor Dad tonight. That was one of my favorite books, man. I read that right in 1999 when it really just kind of first came out. That definitely was one of the books that shaped my life and changed my future. I like what Ty here had to say. Ty says, I never got a job from a poor person.
Ooh, that's a good statement.
That there's definitely a lot of truth in that. So
that is, man, I think that is a good statement. Is that, and think about what a job is. A job is something where you are providing. It's supposed to be a mutually beneficial relationship where I will provide you the means to support your life and your family's life, and you will provide a service to this business that is providing a service to the community. And poor people can't do that. Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. I like that.
Absolutely. All right, man. So folks, thank you for sticking with us to this point. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button, hit that thumbs up button. And for those of you that aren't already subscribed to Cowboys of Crypto's YouTube channel, the link is right down in the description. Go check out Cowboys of Crypto YouTube channel. He does some amazing content. He does a lot of deep dives where he talks about a lot of smaller cap and micro cap gems that have the potential to 100x, 1000x. But he also does some really amazing reviews of up and coming projects. You know, I love his philosophy. He does not do paid promotions in a sense where he is obligated to say good things about the project because they're paying him. He lets them know, hey, I want to interview one of the owners or one of the important members of the team, and I want to have freedom to ask you all of the tough questions. And at the end of the the interview, if I don't think your token or your project has merit, I have the freedom to say so. I have the freedom to say, hey, I don't think I would recommend this token to my community. So he does everything, above board and with the utmost integrity that I've ever seen in a YouTuber. And I appreciate that about him. But he also has these amazing live streams. On Tuesday, he does a CNFT Cardano NFT live stream where him and 2 or 3 of his buddies that are NFT experts hop on and talk about Cardano NFTs. He's got his Thursday live stream where he does a lot of small cap and micro cap gem videos. So if you haven't already subscribed to his channel, make sure that you do.
I appreciate that, Brad. And you're an amazing guest too on the channel. This guy is always, I mean, he called the Bitcoin top at 24 like perfectly a month before. And actually Average Joe did the same thing 2 months before. So these guys, I'm always learning from them. But one thing that you mentioned is that I personally like to go over these smaller microcap gems, but my favorite ones are the ones with like extreme utility, like the ones that actually can help make a chain. I think of different blockchains as different like cities. And so anytime that there's a crypto like project that adds value to the blockchain itself, like if I see that blockchain growing and more people coming on it, the ones that are the most valuable are the ones that add value and serve the most people on that blockchain. And that's the kind of stuff that we like to cover on Cowboys.
I love it, man. So I just threw a link to Aaron's channel here in the comments. So feel free to hop on there and subscribe to the channel. And, let me share my screen here real quick, get some CoinGecko up here on the screen and see if we can dive into some small cap, micro cap gems for you folks that are still here hanging out with us. I apologize for the noise in the background. Give me 2 seconds here. So my wife had to take off and pick up my son. Oops, excuse me. And she had to leave me with 2 of my dogs, and one of my dogs is an 11-month-old puppy, and she got a hold of this plastic bottle and she's going to town on it, and it's driving me crazy. So give me 1 second here. I'll be right back.
I like StreamYard, guys. I meant to say thanks LGG, but it said thanks off in the chat. I like StreamYard. This is nice. This is really cool.
She got the cap ripped off of it and really going to town on it. So that should make things a little bit easier to focus on. So do you have any tokens on your mind that you'd like to talk about first?
Well, we want to talk about like one of your favorite tokens, Beam Swap. Beam Swap. That's one of those things that you told me. For me, all tokens lead back to Bitcoin, but I really still consider getting into these smaller cap gems with just a little money could be life changing. I mean, in 4 years or whatever it is. I mean, I'm okay with waiting 4 years for that. It's gonna be good. Thetan Arena, Luna.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So yeah, I've talked about Beam Swap a ton on my channel. I actually had an opportunity to get into the private sale, and some of my community, got into the private sale. Unfortunately, it launched right before the bear market kind of started. So it wasn't necessarily a fantastic private sale for us, but it got us acclimated. It got us into the project. And as you guys can see here now, it's sitting at about, 0.00075. And the market cap on it is $329,000.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
gone up a little bit since we talked. I think it
I
was
was about to say, that gone up a
0.006,
lot. I was like, geez Louise, that was at 06.
or 107. Yeah. So it's gone up a little bit.
Dang.
It's all-time high right when it first launched. It launched back here well, it's showing here its all-time high was 11, or no, see, this is not correct. Never mind. This token actually launched in around October, the end of October in 2021. And then we started, Bitcoin reached its all-time high on November 11th or 12th, I want to say it was. So this actually pumped when it first launched all the way up to about 10 or 11 cents. The private sale was anywhere from about 1.4 up to about 2 cents. So it did anywhere from about a 6 to 5, 6, 7, 8x, depending on where you got it in the private sale. And so it's actually down, quite a bit more than this 93.5%. It's more like 99% down. Its all-time low, you can see here, was on June 18th when Bitcoin really dumped down to the $17,000 level back in June. It went all the way down to 0.045. Let me go ahead.
Is BeamSwap the only swap on Moonbeam?
You asked me that yesterday, and I hadn't had a chance to do more research. I've heard of another one, but I don't know the name of it, and it's not popular enough that anybody's ever brought it to my attention, where I've actually been able to go look at it and check out the platform.
What are the dApps on Moonbeam then? Is it like do they have like guys DeFi? Do they have protocols that stake? Do they have what they got
on BeamSwap?
Yeah.
Let me grab that page. So one of the things I'm not in love with about the StreamYard is you can only kind of share one screen at a time. So like if I go to click on this other screen, it's going to disappear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this into the CoinGecko window here real fast.
I don't mind. I don't mind StreamYard. This is kind of a clean. This is kind of. Yeah,
I like a lot of things about it.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
So here is the beamswap.io. You go to the website and then you go to their app, and you can connect your wallet to it.
Poop is live.
Yeah, this is crazy. This just started. But one of the things that I really like about BeamSwap is to start with, if you go to the earn page and you click on their yield farms, they have a lot of different yield farms, and they pay out relatively high. Now, this one just started, this Poop Glimmer. I can't get over it. Who would name their token Poop? I just don't get it, but it just came out. So as of right now, it's 648%. Now, this is on if you're providing liquidity. So, folks, this is not financial advice. I don't do a whole lot of this LP type stuff because of the risk of impermanent loss. And so I love the Glint token, but I definitely caution you and really advise you to do a lot of research and make sure that you know what you're going to get, what you're getting yourself into if you're going to decide to do some of these. But there is some pretty cool, like you got the Glimmer USDC at 151%. I am in this pool here, this Glimmer pool, not with a lot. You can kind of see here, like I've earned $41 worth of Glint from staking some LP tokens here.
How much did you go in on that?
I want to say that I started back when it kind of first launched and it was higher. So I think I've maybe got $400, $500, $600 tied up
10%
in the like maybe $300 in Glint and $300 in Glimmer, which are now worth a lot less than 600. But it's come down a bunch, but it's still at 78%. But the thing that really excites me about this project is the Beam Share staking feature. And I was telling Aaron a little bit about this yesterday on his channel, where when you stake your Glint tokens, you get these share tokens. So you can kind of see here, hopefully you can see here, where I've got a balance of 419,000 share tokens. And then I need to stake the Glint. I've got, several hundred thousand, I think it's about 800,000 Glint that I don't have staked yet. I need to stake it. But these share tokens, so you can see here where it shows one share token is worth 1.4783 Glint. Well, when I staked these tokens, it was at about 1.2. And it started off at 1-to-1. So the first day that they launched this, the first person that staked got 1 share for 1 glint. And then over the last several months, it's up to 1.47 glint to get 1 share. If you come back to this website in a few days, it'll be 1.48. You come back in a couple of months, it'll be 1.5 or 1.52. So it continues to go up. Right now, you're getting about 22% on your money, which isn't like super, super big when you're talking about liquidity pools and staking, but 22 going on 23% on a single sided where you don't have any risk of impermanent loss is pretty amazing, especially when you're talking about a token that's got a $300,000 market cap. And if you go look at tokens like Trader Joe's token, Joe, or you look at Radium, which is the DEX, the main DEX on the Solana, Solana DEX. If you go to Pancake Swap or Binance Smart Chain, if this gets to a market cap similar to those, it's going to do about 1,000x eventually, possibly even as much as a 10,000x. If you go do the math yourself, if you look at Pancake Swap's highest valuation during the bull market, if BeamSwap gets back to that valuation, it would be roughly a 10,000x. So you're talking about literally having a possibility, in my opinion, not financial advice, if I had to pick one token and that one token was going to turn $1,000 into $10 million, this would be the token that I would throw my $1,000 at. Now, odds are that's never going to happen. I'm not telling you you're going to turn 1,000 into 10 million, but I believe that this would be the token that has the best chance of doing that, because Moonbeam, the network that BeamSwap is built on top of, just won a Polkadot parachain. It's part of the Polkadot parachain network. It's building like crazy during this bull market. And this token right here, Moonbeam is like a Solana or an Avalanche or a Matic, where, 2, 3, 4 years ago, had you put your money into those tokens before the 2021 bull market, back in 18, 19, you were buying those tokens, you would have made an absolute fortune in 2021. And I believe that this has the potential to do that for you in 2024, 2025.
Yeah, actually, one of the things that I really like about this is that it's a parachain off of Polkadot. And I don't know if you knew this, but Polkadot is one of the darling favorites of a bunch of hedge funds. I did a research on like where the hedge funds were parking their money. And obviously the big boys, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of that, Cardano, Solana. But actually, surprisingly, Polkadot was like right after Solana. It was like right there. And so when they're pouring into Polkadot, I only see that that Polkadot is the rising tide for any other parachains or whatever for all of its networks. And if Polkadot goes up, Moonbeam goes up, and if Moonbeam goes up, obviously they're going to need the DEX. And so that makes a lot of sense to me when we're looking at pouring money. Where does the inflow of money go? Polkadot is one of the biggest places where the inflow of money is going to pour into with institutional investors, and anything that is attached to it will go up, I think, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So real fast, I don't want to spend the whole night on this, but I did one of the gentlemen, Jay from the BeamSwap team, shared some information with me today, and I did want to pull this up real fast. So they do have now a wrapped Bitcoin, if you will, on the Moonbeam network that you can buy here, through the exchange if you want to go to the swap. And then if you go to these stable farms, it's down here, right here, this XC, I guess that's an L, I want to say, XCLBTC is a wrapped Bitcoin. And so if you buy that wrapped Bitcoin and then you use like USDC here, right now, this is paying 1,162%. Now that's going to go down rapidly as more and more people provide liquidity. The more people that provide liquidity, the more that APR will come down. But this type of stuff could be an opportunity to throw some money into an LP pool here. And then what I would do is I would cash out my rewards every single day. So like if I put 500 into XLBTC and 500 into USDC, my goal would be to sell the rewards back into either stables or more Bitcoin until I had my original $1,000 of invested capital back. And then I would decide at that point, based on where this APR is sitting, whether or not I wanted to continue letting the rewards come in, or if I wanted to move it, someplace else. But these guys, like I said, this is brand new. You could go check out their Twitter. This just happened recently. And then the last but not least, the other reason that I love this token is because they have a launch pad. So folks, there's no doubt that during a bull market, these launch pads that are doing IDOs a lot of times can have some amazing gains with their IDOs. So you've got, launch pads like what is it called again? The BSC pad? The
BSC
Binance
pad.
Smart Chain
BSC
pad. Yeah, BSC pad. You've got like C2Fi Fund. We talk a little bit about the Gains platform, but that's slightly different. But by staking your glint and getting share tokens, then you have an opportunity as they launch projects. So all of the projects that are going to launch on top of the Moonbeam network, the token that we talked about that won the Polkadot parachain, all of the tokens or all of the projects that want to launch on top of Moonbeam are going to come here to BeamSwap for their IDO. And in order to get in on the IDO, you have to have, I want to say it's 200,000 share tokens, 400,000 share tokens, and 800,000 share tokens are the three different tier levels. So that is going to create a lot of buy pressure for Glint as we go back into a bull market and people want to get in on these IDOs. And I just, I've had so much success with C2Fi Fund and with Gains that I can't wait. I've got a little over 400,000 share tokens right now. And my goal is to be up over 1 million before the next bull run, so that I'm at the absolute highest level for this launch pad when it really starts launching some new projects.
Now, Brad, can I ask a question that's a little off topic, but not really?
Yep.
So how are you investing? Are you trading and investing that, or are you, and I know you're having your challenge here, 10 to 100K, but do you work or have some kind of business or like some kind of income outside of crypto, and you're constantly pouring more money into crypto? How are you funding your investments here?
Yeah, man, that's a fantastic question. So for a long time, I was basically just kind of living off of my crypto profits. When everything really started going up, I just was kind of living off of capital gains. But then I was getting into these different private sales, and I was having some amazing success. Like Gains didn't used to have a token. So I actually was able to get in on their private sale before they launched their token. Wow. I actually was able to get in at around I want to say it was about 4 cents. And I got $3,000 invested into the Gains token at about 4 cents. I want to say it was about 75,000 tokens that I got. And when it launched, my goal was to get up to either the shark level or to the whale level. But when it launched, it went up to 80 cents so fast that instead of spending another, $80,000 at that point, it just made a lot more sense to sell most of my 75,000 tokens. So I literally sold off almost 65,000 of my tokens, made, I think it was around 30,000 or so. I didn't time the top perfect, but I made about 30,000, and I had the 10,000 tokens left that I've been using to get into private sales with. And I just had several things like that happen to me. So what I'm doing now is a little bit different, because now I don't want to spend crypto. I'm doing everything that I can to not spend my crypto, but it's definitely been tough. I've had to spend some crypto. I don't really have another income stream. I have been doing some one-on-one consulting. So what happened was I had a lot of people coming to me, asking me for help, structuring their portfolios, getting them started. And so I kind of created a consulting business where I do some one-on-one consulting with people that, they have to have some money in order to afford the hourly rate that I charge. It doesn't make sense unless they have $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 to invest. And then I'm working on a group coaching program where people are going to be able to come in and get group coaching for just a monthly membership. And then I also play some poker. I live in Las Vegas. When I moved here, I was a poker dealer. That's how I made a living while I was building my crypto portfolio. I was a poker dealer at the Venetian, the Wynn,
That's so
MGM
cool.
Grand, several top casinos. And I've always loved poker. I've always played poker very seriously. In fact, last night, from my home here, the comfort of my office, I picked up $3,000 playing a little poker online last night. I did a cash out for $3,843. That's going to get me through another few weeks of living expenses, and going to buy me a few more dollars worth of crypto. But yeah, man, I'm just like everybody else in a sense. Like between now and the next bull run, I'm having to hustle because I didn't cash out enough at the top. I thought Bitcoin was going to a minimum of 100, probably more like 125 to 150, and when it didn't, well, yeah, when it didn't. Even when the first of the year came, like I'll be honest, even when it didn't happen, I thought it was going to happen by the end of the year. But even when January rolled around and it had kind of come back down to, somewhere around 40,000 at that point, I was still very much expecting another rally, kind of like last year when we had the June and July, end of May, all of June, all of July, that was so awful. And then it took back off again, August, September, October, going into November. That's really what I was expecting to happen in January or February. And I really did get caught, with my pants down a little bit and did not get enough of my portfolio cashed out. So I'm not homeless or anything by any means, but I'm not going on the super amazing vacations and, like any plans of buying a Ferrari or something like that are probably held off until the next bull run.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, during that bull run, I remember I was buying vacations for my family, and that's when I just started. So Kelsey did not believe any of this magic internet money. And I was like, I have to make you believe. So I started buying her a whole bunch of stuff. And so she, obviously believes now, which is, yeah, I think that time caught everybody. I don't think there's a single person who'd been, I would have seen them. I think even the TA, the nerds that are trying to chart the stars in the sky, they're all trying to, whoa, Brad, where'd you go? Welcome to the Cowboys of Crypto. This is not my channel. I think Brad is a little off, but I think he'll be back soon. I hope so. Yeah, so I think that bull run was just so fantastic for me. I had to set some standards of belief in my household to make sure to say, hey, all these late nights, I need to make sure that I'm working hard for these things. Okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play a game. I'm going to give away $50.
Sorry about that. I've never done that before. I managed to somehow X out of the wrong screen.
Oh, that's funny. I was going to give away $50 to tell everyone how long it would take for you to come back onto the screen. That was going to be my giveaway. I just took over the channel for a little bit, which is funny.
No problem. I can X myself out again if you want to go back to it.
No, yeah. It's like musical chairs. I was like, when are you going to come in? That's funny. No, I was telling everyone like how the bull run was a good time to solidify, like, hey, this is a real deal. Crypto is real. Crypto is real. So it was good for me and my wife and my family and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been amazing. Let me see here. Yeah, Mike, I live in Las Vegas. I moved here about 15 years ago. I lived in Washington State, grew up in just north of Seattle, kind of in the suburbs. Got tired of the rain. I lived in that crummy, rainy, miserable state for 33 years, and now I've been here for 15, going on 16. I love the sunshine. I love the palm trees. I love being a few hours away from, Los Angeles, San Diego beaches. And so there's a good chance that this is going to be home base for a lot of years to come. And then my goal after the next bull market is to own some Airbnbs. Back in the old days, if you wanted to own 3 or 4 houses, you had to have all of that overhead and all of that expense. Now it's amazing. You can buy, I've got this place in the Bahamas that I'm looking to buy. I like Myrtle Beach in Florida. So I've got 3 or 4 places eventually that I want to own places, but I'm planning on them being vacation rentals for 75, 80, 85% of the year, and then stay in there for a month or two myself. And so, yeah, Las Vegas is home for the last 15
You just
years.
need to live in Florida, baby. You just need to
I
live
tell
in
you, no, we love Florida. When we went, we went to Bitcoin, 2022 on Miami Beach there. We loved it there. It's a little too hectic. I don't like all the traffic, but if we moved a little bit further north, I guess it is, to something that was a little bit slower moving, but on the coast near the water, that's definitely in the cards for me long term.
right next to me, man. Right next to me. This is a slow, sleepy town, Port St. Lucie.
Man, I
So
tell
this
you,
is
man, it's possible. My wife doesn't love it here. She is not a big fan of Las Vegas, so it would not be hard to talk her into moving at all.
oh really? Oh wow, that's fascinating. Because I just remember that this was just such a great time for us.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. Kind of a funny little story here, Aaron. You probably don't remember, but when I had about 300 subscribers, I saw you on your live streams. You had maybe 7,500, 10,000 subscribers. I had 300. And I saw you on a live stream with Crypto Bandit, and he only had about 300 subs at the time. And I thought, man, this is awesome. This guy seems to like, he works with smaller YouTubers. So I sent you some messages on Telegram. We connected a little bit, and I was hoping that I could get on your channel, and you kind of ignored me. you ignored me, and I was like, this mother brah, I told my wife, this guy. And so, but I just went to work. I put my head down, I went to work. But it was kind of funny. Then we met person to person at Bitcoin 2022. And then we, from that point, you were open to me being on your channel. And but this is the reason I tell this story is because earlier you were talking about how people misinterpret. Or so, like, I thought, why, if he's got this Crypto Bandit on that's only got 300 subs, why don't he want me? Little did I know that Crypto Bandit was a personal friend of yours. I just kind of found that out. Same thing, Ethan, personal friend of yours. So of course it all makes sense. But I spent months, not hating you by any means, but I spent months with a little chip on my shoulder, thinking, man, I wasn't good enough for this guy, huh? And it had nothing to do with that. Like, you weren't thinking that at all.
No, actually, I think the same thing happened to AJC as well. What I think also was happening was that I was so inundated. I am so inundated with so many messages. You probably have an idea. Like, yeah. I don't think the chat understands how often I get messages, and like I have shortcut replies to every one of. I type in like a quick like code word, and it pops in these replies, and I'm going through it like crazy. It literally might be 40 messages a day, 40 in this Telegram, and they're either scams or they're not scams. It's so hard to filter through. It's just, and especially then, like towards the beginning of the year, like now it's slowed down a lot, probably about 20, but that's still a lot. I still feel myself like on my phone like a ton. So no, I don't mean to cause you any. Actually, Saran, the Crypto Bandit, is the godfather of my daughter, and so, or one of the godfathers of my daughter, and so yeah, it's close personal.
It all makes sense. So I'm glad that I never said anything snarky or did anything that I would have regretted.
I would have taken it.
But
it's all good.
But yeah, man, it all turned out good. But it's just a good lesson in not assuming what another person is feeling or thinking and doing.
Yeah, that really is, I think, important, right? Like, especially, it's so hard because crypto is so riddled with scams. But I try to just take things as data. It's like, okay, he didn't hit me back up. Maybe he didn't see it. Maybe he didn't do it. I'm going to try again, or we'll contact another time, or, you know what I mean? Like, you could have easily like brushed me off in person too. That could have been easy, and that would have been the end of it. You know what I mean? But you didn't. You tried again, and I didn't even realize. Like, I recognized the face, and like I was like, that logo, man. I know that logo, man. So, because I remember doing research on you, and so I'm just glad it all worked out in the end now. So that's good.
Yeah, man. Me too. So how do you want to give away $50 in Binance Smart Chain stables?
Yeah, I'll give away $50. What was it? I think Tether is what I'm going to give away.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how you want me to give those $50 away. I have no idea. How do you want to do this?
Well, I definitely have some people here, that are in the chat that might not have known you, but I also know that a lot of the people that are here are already familiar with you.
I see
So
these
I don't know.
names. I see these
Yeah, I mean,
names. I love them.
I don't know if sending somebody over, to your YouTube channel to make a comment on your video and subscribe is the way to go, like you've done for me, because I don't think there's enough new people here to make it worthwhile. So I'm going to give away. I saw somebody up in the chat. I'm going to give away $50 worth of the AJC token. So I bought $100 worth of the AJC token a couple of weeks ago.
One up.
As of the night that we did the live stream, it was worth $467. And I really like Joe. I think he's a great guy. I really appreciated him coming on the channel. And it's a micro cap gem. It's like, I think it was at $67,000 market cap or $57,000 market cap. So, if somebody wants to, we get $50 worth of this token, you could go sell it if you want. But I would recommend maybe gambling on things, because if Average Joe Crypto's YouTube channel and community goes from 10,000 to 100,000 over the next couple of years, as I believe it will, as he keeps working hard, I think that token is probably going to make people more money than if they sold it today, but it's up to them. So you give away 50 in stables, I'll give away 50 in AJC token, and everybody should be happy.
Here's how I'm going to do it, guys. Okay. I want you guys to go into AJC's video with IC here, and I want you to type in the best thing about Average Joe's story. I listened to that first part. It's about 9-10 minutes in so far. Like it's fantastic. I think he talks a lot about his upbringing and kind of just check out that video. I'm going to be watching here. Okay. I'm going to see what are the best comments, and I'm just going to pick the best one just for me.
Awesome.
Like
I
most
love
meaningful,
that idea, man.
best. So yeah,
I love it. That's one of the things I really love about, having gotten to know you and now getting to know Joe and, Crypto Bandit, is that we're kind of becoming a family, and all, what's that saying? All ships rise with the tide. We're all helping each other. So I just threw a link to that video. This link that I just threw in the chat will take you directly to that video with me interviewing Average Joe Crypto. So go take a peek at that. Definitely subscribe to his channel while you're there. The link's in the description, to his channel. So go support Average Joe Crypto, man. He's an amazing technical analysis.
Push right now. Dang.
Yeah, man. He's an amazing technical analysis. I've, amazing TA guy. I really enjoy watching. One of the things that I've done when we were talking about the way that I'm making my trades, one of the ways that I've been increasing my skill in that area is listening to him talk about the resistance levels and the support levels and those types of things. So he definitely knows, what he wants to talk about. I'm not sure exactly what he means here by this. Which video is Aaron?
Which video, Aaron? Yeah, that's the one. Go to this one. Go to that one.
Yeah,
the one.
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah, this one right here is the one that you want them to comment on, right?
I've said this to AJC himself.
Yeah.
I've said this to AJC himself. I think it's all astrology. I think it's all just like making stick figures in the sky. And I've said it tongue in cheek, but this is really how I feel. My philosophy is big red stick buy, big green stick sell. It's like, right? That's my philosophy. I think I could hit it, pretty more often than not. And I think I have on that type of philosophy. But AJC, you can't deny the facts that he called his shot that first time around, and I did not. And so good for him. If you like that kind of stuff, if you like TA, be sure to check out AJC, one of the most trusted guys that I feel like is on YouTube talking about that stuff.
One of the things that I'm starting to like about it, because I have the poker background, is, the probabilities part. Like, if you've got two hearts in your hand, saying, no limit hold'em, you get dealt two cards. Say two of your cards are a heart. And then when the three cards come up on the board, two of them are a heart. So you've got two hearts on the board, two in your hand. The odds of one of the remaining two cards coming a heart and turning your hand into a flush is about 36%, or about 1 out of 3. So let's say that there was $100 in the pot, and somebody moved all in for $500 more. They moved all in. There was no more betting action to be had. Well, it would be a horrible call at that point, because you're risking 500 to win, 600, but you're only 36% to win. But let's say on the flip side that there was 500 in the pot and somebody bet $100 all in. Now you're getting 6-1 on your money on a 3-1 probability. Now you want to call that all in. And one of the things about TA that a lot of people I don't think understand is that even with the best TA, you're never more than about 60 to, at the very highest, usually around 70% to win. So that means anytime a good setup, like a TA guy tells you, hey, if Bitcoin gets to this level and then it breaks through this level, it's going to head down to this level. At the very best, you're going to win that trade 70% of the time, and you're going to lose 30% of the time. And a lot of the times you're only going to win 60 or 65%. So you're still going to lose, say, 1 out of 3 times, even with the best setups in the world. And that's why the risk management and the stop losses are so important. You can't just go into these leverage trades, especially where you're shorting or longing, without stop losses, because you're going to lose 1 out of 3 times, even when it's a great setup. But once you understand that type of math and you understand the probabilities, now you're looking, if you can do something and win 65% of the time, there's some money to be made.
That's interesting. I didn't think about it like in terms of probabilities in poker, and I just thought like, okay, if it breaks through a resistance barrier, how much more? Like I look at like a lot of macro, like what else will it take for it to keep going down, keep toppling down? Is there fear? Is it? That's the type of stuff that I kind of focus on. Whether it's correct or not, I have no idea. But yeah, that's fascinating. I need to do more research on it. I still think of it as astrology, but I need to do more research on it.
I love your philosophy. And for 99% of the people out there, I think that their best strategy is just to buy and hold. Yeah, and like you said, red stick, buy some more. Green stick, maybe take a little profits. Yeah. But the whole goal, it's a long-term game. Like nothing matters between now and the Bitcoin halving, in my opinion, in March or so of 2024. Everything that happens between now and then is just kind of noise. And that the goal is to create enough money in your life to where you can get enough of this crypto accumulated to where when we hit the next bull market, which I believe is going to be sometime towards the middle to end of 2024, going into 2025, you can make life-changing money and get your freedom, whatever that means to you. That's the end goal. And the number one best, most likely way to have that happen is just to buy and hold.
I know we talked about freedom at the top of the podcast here. What is freedom to you again? I know you said you didn't want people telling you what to do, but more specifically, what's freedom to you, and what's the dollar figure that you need to make for Brad here for IC?
Yeah, it's definitely different, for everybody. I've found that the number that I thought I needed it's way smaller than that. But for me, freedom,
you need to hit inflation. You need to inflate that number.
Now we need more. But like back in the day, when I was dealing poker, I made around $30 an hour. So it was 40 hours a week, $1,200 $1,200 a week, $5,000 a month, call it. My wife also was working. So I figured, realistically, in order to have what I would consider freedom would be enough money to replace our jobs so that we could continue to live the lifestyle that we were living, pay our house and our car and have food and be able to enjoy life. That was the initial goal, the initial freedom that I wanted. Then, of course, once we got that, now the goal is to increase it to where you can take nice vacations and enjoy nice things. But the first thing that I wanted was just to be rid. I didn't want to have a job. I didn't want a boss. I wanted to be able to wake up in the morning and take my kids to school and be there in the afternoon and pick them up from school. If my son had a football game, I didn't have to ask my boss if I could have the day off to go to it. If my mom called me up and said, hey, we're planning a vacation in August of next year, like in poker, we have like these busy seasons where some of the year it's extremely easy to get times off, but other parts of the year, they're like, you can't take that time off. And I just didn't, I wanted to have that. Freedom. Sorry. I think my wife just got home with my son and my dogs are letting me know. But that was what initially, that's all freedom meant to me. I didn't care about Ferraris and jets and mansions and all of that kind of stuff. I have some bigger dreams now and I really want to be able to do some of that. But that was initially what freedom was for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, especially like as you grow as a person, you start to develop and start to evolve and what you want. And then even still, like now your kids are expanding and they need to grow and they need more from their dad and maybe their grandkids and hopefully great grandkids, like that kind of stuff expands. And I think our goals for freedom or wealth should expand accordingly too. I think, and that's just out of generosity, right? Like if you start to think about your kids and grandkids, the more wealthy you are, I don't think the more you should be taking. I think the more you should be generous, and that's just personal philosophy for mine. I think
I agree, so much with that. And I don't really talk about it all that often because, as you know, one of the things that it says in the Bible is, don't tell your left hand what your right hand does. So when you do good for other people, if you go brag about it and yell it out to the world, then that means you're doing it from the wrong spot, man. It wasn't from the heart because you wanted to give. You wanted to put yourself up on a pedestal and brag about the fact that you're giving. So I don't tell most of the stuff that I do, but I do have a couple of little things. Like one thing that happened to me last year was I had a gentleman, a friend of mine from the church, whose truck broke down, and it was his work truck, and he was in a tough spot. And he asked me, he said, "Hey, can I borrow $3,000 from you? And then I'm going to sell my trailer. I'm going to sell this trailer and pay you back." And I said, "Don't you need that trailer for work?" And he said, "Yes, but I need my truck more and I can buy another trailer later." And it felt really good to tell him, "Here's $3,000, bro. Don't sell your trailer." And then because I'm a Christian and I don't believe in loaning money, it was just a gift. I told him, if you want to give this back to me at some time, that's up to you, but you're under no obligation to. Here's $3,000. And he got his truck fixed and he, tears in his eyes. And that's the kind of stuff that I like to have money for. I love being able to do that kind of stuff. And I believe I'm with you, man. That's why I'm accumulating more wealth. It's not so I can have more stuff. It's so that I can do more things like that and affect more people's lives.
Yeah. I like Gates is very tangible. She's saying freedom for me is going to a restaurant and not having to check how much everything costs. I think, I think what you're touching on there, Gates, is like the anxiety of trying to make it, right? Or trying to like I got to account for everything, and then you turn over to your spouse and you're like, "Do we have enough money for this?" Like that is the worst. That is the absolute, to be able to like freely give and not have to like, like I got to do all the, like I think that's amazing for sure. And it's not a prideful thing. A lot of people who try to give to like try to boast up and stuff, or like look at me and peacock out and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where like, man, I'm so richly and abundantly blessed. And you know what? You don't have to be generous. You don't have to be generous you don't have to have a lot of money to be generous. You can be generous with very little. And I think I believe God will bless that. And I think that's true.
Absolutely, man.
So I think we should all be go-givers rather than go-getters, honestly, in our lives.
Yeah, and another really good point, kind of a cool story. I really love this story, this parable, if you will. If you're looking to achieve more with money and you're not doing a whole lot right with money, like I wasn't doing a lot right with money for a lot of my life. It talks about in the Bible that he who is faithful with little will be faithful with much, and vice versa. But this is a good picture. Like you're sitting there asking God, or just asking the universe, whatever you believe in, for more money, for more success. But look at it this way: you have a little son or daughter, say they're 3-4 years old, and you're going through, say, like a county fair or some type of a fun Disneyland or whatever, some kind of a theme park. You're going through and you come across this ice cream stand, and your daughter or your son wants some ice cream. Being a good dad, you're going to buy them some ice cream, so you go get your son or your daughter this ice cream cone, just one scoop. And because they're young and they're a little bit shaky and it's hot out, so it's starting to melt, they just barely get a couple of licks in on the ice cream cone and it falls off and plops down onto the cement. Now imagine that right about that time, an adult walks by and he's got a great big triple decker ice cream cone with 3 or 4 scoops built up. And your son or daughter sees that and they say, Daddy, I want one of those. As a responsible father that loves your child, that just watched them plop one scoop of ice cream onto the ground, are you going to go buy them that 4 scoop ice cream cone? Absolutely not.
I'm gonna kneel down and pick up the ice cream that was just dropped and put it back on his cone and take the cone and shove it in his face.
Absolutely. The moral of the story,
be
folks,
faithful with little one,
yes,
and then I'll give you
absolutely. The moral of the story is learn how to take care of that one scoop of ice cream cone, and then the universe or God or whatever you believe in will give you more scoops. But you got to get what you've got taken care of and do good with what you have.
Along with the kids, here are my kids right here. They're like, I have this over here all the time, and when I'm late at night especially. But for me, I heard this. I thought it was like fantastic for raising kids. I heard, give to your kids, or don't worry about giving to your kids what you never had. Teach them what you never knew. And I always thought that was really important. I didn't have much, but I also didn't know much. My parents were immigrants. I had to enroll myself in high school and college. I didn't know how to enroll in a school as a child. And so 17 rolling into college, I was like, help me. I have no idea. Even high school, that's a little more hazy, but I still remember like going to the office trying to get things started. I didn't know that kind of stuff. That's my focus. I want to teach them things that I never knew that will help them be more beneficial than like buying them ice cream scoops, little thing that they ride around with the thing that, like that's superficial. That'll go away. It's teaching them the lessons that was always super important for me. That's important. It's important to teach them.
I agree. I think a lot of people, especially wealthy people, get it wrong. And that's why a lot of times it doesn't last generationally. They give their kids everything. Their kids don't have to, have any responsibility. They don't learn a lot of life's lessons. And then therefore, when the patriarch of the family passes on and now the son or the daughter has to take over, they blow it. So I'm with you. I'm very careful with my children. I'm teaching them a lot about money. They have their own crypto portfolios. They take their birthday money and different stuff and invest it, with my help. And yeah, of course I'm going to be there to, help them and to give them advice and to nudge them in the right direction. But I don't care if I have 100 million lying around in crypto, they're going to make their own way in life and become successful on their own. It ain't going to be given to them.
Yeah. I got Bitcoin. You don't got Bitcoin. I got Bitcoin. That's funny.
Yep, absolutely. Do you have any? Well, I guess we got to get to giving away some of this money. I think the part of the reason we still have all of the viewers is they're like, are these guys ever going to give away the $100?
Let's see here.
So what did you?
I don't see anyone. Here we go. Marshawn Lynch, Lawrence Atkins, Sanchi, Crypto Maniac. I'm gonna have to read through this kind of stuff. Let's see here. Who? Okay, I'm gonna give it to someone who wrote the most. I'm just gonna hit read more because I'm not gonna spend time. There's a lot of you guys just posted up in here. Who wrote the most? I think Crypto Maniac might have written the most. Either Lawrence Atkins and Crypto Maniac. Okay, I'm going to read the two. Lawrence Atkins says, I love the interview, how genuine AJC was. He's real, went through suffering. Could become his new addiction. Okay. Crypto Maniac, more power to you, Joe. You have lively personality. Thank you, Brad, for me. Until now, it's one person. I'm gonna go for Lawrence Adkins. One, I think Cryptomaniac has won a couple of my giveaways, and two, Lawrence Adkins. It seems like he reflected on a lot of that stuff. I see a lot of it. It became a new addiction. I know that he watched it. So, Lawrence Adkins, put your BSC, um, what's that
Address,
called?
wallet address.
In your about description, and I'm gonna get it from there. Don't post. A lot of people like try to put that thing in there, and no, don't do that. I've learned my lesson the hard way. So put it in your about address. I'll get it from there.
Sounds good. And then I'm going to go ahead and give the $50 an AJC token to Cryptomaniac. That would have been your next choice. So I'm going to go ahead and do Cryptomaniac. So throw your Ethereum address, your MetaMask, or your Ethereum wallet address, and you will have $50 in AJC tokens coming your way.
Hey, looks like you won too. So there you go. There you go. Joe was beaming was last night. Yeah, good deal.
Awesome, man. Did you have any other small cap gems? I know we didn't end up talking a whole lot of small cap gems, but I believe that anybody that watches this video is going to get more out of it. It's going to be more of a blessing in their lives if they really take it to heart than any of the tokens that we could have talked about.
I hope so. I just want to, like, right now I'm really into crypto gaming. And so like anything that's related to like the big gaming stuff, like Engine Coin, any Seedify stuff. Right now, my attention is on Vulcan Forge, and I'm back in exploration mode. I'm back in like, okay, let's see, how can I really make money doing this? How do I make money here? And so I'm in discovery right now. I'm looking because in this type of environment, boy, you've got a couple different mindsets. I want to be very strategic. I want to get into things that have like, I feel like could take off in a big way. So you really won me over on Beam Swap. I really will. I'll throw in probably like $1,000 or $2,000 into that. I'm still gonna pour into a little bit into these different games, and then because some of these AAA games are gonna start developing and start being really big in the next bull run. I think at least a couple of years from now. Yep. And then of course I run into ADA. Not so much Ethereum for me. Maybe it should be, but I don't like the merge. I think the merge is going to tank it. So ADA and Cardano is probably where I'm at right now. Or sorry, ADA and Bitcoin is probably the two big ones that I like right now.
Awesome, man. I love it. I like those tokens too. Aaron's got an amazing video that he just did over the last few days where he was playing Immutable X. And I think he just put out a video. It might have even been today where he said, I earned, it was like $23.72 playing this game. So for those of you that are gamers and that might want to do some play to earn and make some money, playing some of these crypto games, I definitely recommend going and checking out that video. I think was it just today that got posted, or was that yesterday?
I posted
just today. Yeah, just a few hours ago. So
11 p.m. Eastern Standard. No, sorry, it was like 4 o'clock because I pushed out a short. I'm really trying to over-index. I'm trying to go live every night. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to give out shorts and videos every day.
You are inspiring to me, man, because I have like these moments where like I'm really in the flow. I'm in the mood. I'll do 4, 5, 6 videos in a 5-6 day period of time, but then it'll be a week or two before I put anything else out. And I'm trying to get that consistency. Aaron here, you don't ever see more than a day go by without a video, and that's even rare. Like he's posting videos most of the time, 7 days a week, and every once in a while he'll miss a day. But if you're on his channel, you're going to be getting great stuff every single day pretty much.
I've had to scale back on the weekends, but I'm trying to over-index like 3 on in the weekdays, and then the shorts and stuff like that. I think it's the marketer in me. I like the social media marketing and stuff like that. Right. But guys, check out the IC and the channel, man. He's going to be pumping out good stuff, and the live streams I think are going to be good, especially if you keep on bringing on awesome quality people. I want to listen to their stories. I think that's a great angle to take the crypto market.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got some pretty cool people lined up. I've got a gentleman named Crypto Factor that's also on Around the Blockchain, sitting on about 33,000 subscribers that I think is going to be on Monday. I've also got a couple of business groups that I'm in that just have a lot of successful people in them. Like you talked about surrounding yourself, with a good community. So I surround myself with a great crypto community, but I also have a good community outside of crypto. So I've got some folks that maybe don't know as much about crypto as some of my guests, but they have amazing insight just on building business and being successful and handling money. So there's going to be kind of a lot of different types of guests that are coming onto the channel for that, because I created a podcast, just have the one episode uploaded right now, but I thought that this would be a great way to kind of be able to do these YouTube live streams and then repurpose them to the podcast. So thank you for that. I know that Jay Crypto Minded has been one of my best community members right from the beginning of the channel. I know that he, came and found you through me, and he's been an amazing community member for you. So I wanted to jump on here, and he's got a question for you. Does this ring a bell at all, Affinity?
I think that's Engine. Yeah, I just like, I think it's Engine. I think you were referring to Engine, and its ecosystem. I like Engine, no problem, no problems there. I think I'm trying to bet on the juggernauts is what I'm trying to do. Either the juggernauts or the sleeping giants is basically the ones that are like questionable. Like I don't really know that if it's not great, it's out to me. If I'm not blown away by it, it's not worth my time or energy. And I think that's what is important for investing in this bear market. That's important to me.
Makes sense. Did you ever end up picking up any UFO token?
No, I did not. And that's a great token too. Let me look that up really quick. I forgot about that one. Yeah. So, okay. So part of it also is like the timing. These might be great tokens, but bad timing. And it's hard to time the market, right? So, I mean, it shouldn't be a thing. Wow. It had a little uptick. See this last bit here that, Bitcoin just really shot everything up. And so I need to wait for it to come down again. So that's a nice token. I like that one.
Okay, cool. All right, folks. Well, with that, we've been going for, about an hour and 45 minutes. This is the record longest live stream that I've ever done by a long shot, but it's also been one of my absolute favorites, man. I knew ahead of time that this was going to turn into something special. I didn't know exactly where or how, but I just knew that it was, and it has been. It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for your time. And do you have anything else on your mind or on your heart that you want to talk about before we call it a night?
Yeah, I think it's the same mantra that I keep on coming back to. I think I have two of them. One is I think community is it. I was so stupid when I was like younger, and it was because people poured into me, and then I started getting older, and I started putting people around me who were just as smart or smarter than me, and that's what really helped bring value into my life. Was having people I love around me, people I trust around me. I think we have a great community. Cowboys of Crypto. I'm sure I know that IC loves you guys, your community as well. And maybe we could merge the two, and that's always great because if we have trusted people all the way around, I think that's the number one thing that you could do for yourself. The number two thing you should do for yourself is build in this market. Build your stacks, build your sats, build your business, build your knowledge base. Just don't be lazy during this time. Don't wait for the bull market. Prepare for it. And I think that's the best thing that I think any of us can do. We're in the same boat as you guys. I'm just talking to a camera. You know what I mean? Like there are people, you guys are smarter than me. You guys know, you guys have more information, more, you know what I mean? Like just talking to a camera. But I think to make the choice to build instead of be lazy, I think that is an important choice to make in this bear market.
Amen, man. And I agree 100% with that. I want to share something here real quick. So the gentleman, if you can see that there, Ed Milet, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And I just got done listening to like his podcast. And the exact thing that he said mirrored Aaron 1000%, that real wealth is created in the bear market. That when everybody else is taking their foot off the gas pedal, that's your opportunity to catch up, because it's hard to catch up to somebody that's running full speed. But if you got people that are taking their foot off the gas pedal and that are, taking it easy, now is the time. And so a reason I brought that up is just to show you guys how amazing Aaron really is. I mean, here we've got this guy that's probably really if he's not a billionaire, he's close to it. Super awesome man, super big entrepreneur, one of my favorite people in the world. He's like one of my dream people to meet. Like, he's like the Michael Jordan of business to me. I can't wait to actually meet him in person. And here you guys have Aaron from Cowboys of Crypto telling you the exact same thing, man. So go check out Cowboys of Crypto. This gentleman is a wealth of knowledge. One quick last question I've never asked. How old are you, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm not 18, even though I look like it. I was 17 when I moved to Florida. I always told everyone, I said, I'm gonna say I'm from San Diego until my time here is equal to the time I was in California, and this year is that time. So I am 34. I'm from Florida, and it's the Asian genes that are keeping me young.
Man, that's awesome. I love it when I say I'm 49 and I still feel like, man, to have the world by the tail like I have it right now, the fun that I'm going to have, God willing, if I'm around here for 30 or 40 more years, but to be 34 years old and to know what you know and to have the business that you have, and I mean, unbelievable. That's fantastic, man.
I'm very blessed. Yeah, God's given me a lot. Very, very blessed. And I say this to my friends a lot. What a time to be alive. I mean, really is what a time to be alive. When did we have a revolution like the internet? When are we going to have a revolution like blockchain? It's like an incredible time to be alive. And so I intend to capitalize on it. And I really hope to see everyone else in here try to capitalize on it as well.
Awesome, man. Well, this is definitely not the last time we are going to have you on the channel, man. I know that everybody loved tonight, so we'll do this again. I look forward to getting on your channel again soon. I know you got a cricket or two to eat, you and Bandit and Average Joe Crypto.
I want to have AJC on there, and we'll have a conversation. Then we'll have the whole party on there again. So we'll do that.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you again so much for your time. I appreciate you. And with that, folks, everybody have a great night. God bless, and we will see you again very, very soon.